My family abandoned me at my 80th birthday dinner. What I found in my purse changed everything. I spent $2,400 on my 80th birthday dinner to celebrate with my family. When I came back from the restroom, every single person was gone. My children, grandchildren, everyone. They left me alone with the bill and a cruel note that broke my heart. But what I discovered in my purse that night turned their betrayal into the best thing that ever happened to me. Hi, I'm Margaret, and this is my story of how my family's cruelty led to my greatest blessing. I'm Margaret Thompson, 80 years old, and I've been a widow for 12 years. My husband David left me comfortable financially, but after he passed, I felt increasingly lonely as my family seemed to drift away. My son Michael lives 20 minutes away with his wife Jennifer and their 2 teenage kids. My daughter Sarah moved to Dallas with her family 5 years ago. We used to be close, but lately our phone calls had become shorter, visits less frequent. When my 80th birthday approached last month, I decided to do something special. Instead of waiting for them to plan something, which they probably wouldn't, I'd organize a beautiful family dinner myself. I booked a private dining room at Romano's, the nicest Italian restaurant in town. I invited Michael's family. Sarah flew in from Dallas with her husband and kids, plus my sister Ruth and her son. 12 people total. I was so excited. I bought a new dress, got my hair done, even hired a photographer to capture the memories. After feeling forgotten for so long, I was finally going to have my whole family together to celebrate my 80 years of life. The dinner started wonderfully. Everyone seemed happy, laughing, sharing stories. We ordered appetizers, wine, multiple courses. The kids were excited, taking photos with me, calling me the birthday queen. I felt like the luckiest grandmother in the world. This was exactly what I'd been missing. My family gathered around me, making me feel loved and important. After the main course, I excused myself to use the restroom. I was gone maybe 10 minutes, fixing my makeup, feeling grateful and content. But when I walked back into that private dining room, my heart stopped. Every single chair was empty. 12 people had vanished like they'd never been there. Plates were still on the table, half-finished desserts, wine glasses with lipstick marks. But no family. I stood there in shock, looking around the empty room. "Hello?" I called out. "Michael? Sarah? Where is everyone?" The waiter appeared with an uncomfortable expression. "Mrs. Thompson," he said quietly, "your family left about 5 minutes ago. They asked me to give you this and said you'd take care of the check." He handed me a folded piece of paper and the bill. $2,400 for 12 people. My hands were shaking as I opened that note. It was written in my daughter-in-law Jennifer's handwriting. "Margaret, we're all tired of pretending. You've become demanding and needy since David died, and frankly, we have our own lives to live. We came tonight out of obligation, but we can't keep doing this anymore. You can afford this dinner. You complain about being lonely, but you have plenty of money to keep yourself busy. Maybe it's time you learned to be independent instead of guilt-tripping your family into spending time with you. Don't call us for a while. We need space." The family. I read it 3 times before it sank in. My own family, people I'd raised, loved, sacrificed for, had conspired to humiliate me on my 80th birthday. I sat down in that empty dining room and cried. The waiter kindly brought me tissues and asked if I needed help calling someone. But who could I call? The only people in my life had just abandoned me. I paid that $2,400 bill with my credit card, feeling like the loneliest person on earth. The photographer I'd hired was still waiting outside. I had to tell him there was no family left to photograph. But as I sat in my car afterwards, feeling completely broken, I remembered something. Earlier that day, my neighbour Mrs. Chen had stopped by with a birthday card. I'd put it in my purse without opening it, planning to read it later. I found the card and opened it, expecting a simple birthday wish. Instead, I found something that would change my entire life. Inside Mrs. Chen's birthday card was a handwritten letter that began, "Dear Margaret, I hope you don't mind, but I have something important to tell you about your late husband, David." My heart started racing. What could my neighborhood possibly know about David that I didn't? The letter continued. "Before David passed away, he came to see me. He was worried about you being alone and wanted to make sure you'd be okay. He told me he had set aside money for you to travel, to make new friends, to live fully, but he was afraid your family would make you feel guilty for spending it on yourself instead of leaving it all to them." I couldn't believe what I was reading. David had confided in Mrs. Chen about things he'd never told me. "David asked me to wait until your 80th birthday to give you this information. He said by then you'd know whether your family truly cared about you or just your inheritance. He wanted you to have the freedom to choose your own happiness." Attached to the letter was a key and an address. "Go to First National Bank downtown. Ask for safety deposit box 247. David left specific instructions for you there. He loved you more than you'll ever know, and he wanted to make sure you could live your remaining years exactly as you choose, with or without family who don't appreciate you." I drove straight to that bank the next morning, my hands shaking as I turned that key. Inside safety deposit box 247 were documents that revealed my husband's incredible foresight and love. David had been planning for my life after his death for years. There were investment accounts I didn't know about, containing $850,000, stock certificates in my name, and a sealed letter addressed to me. "My darling Margaret," the letter began, "if you're reading this, it means you've reached your 80th birthday and Mrs. Chen has given you the key. I've been watching our family, and I'm worried they see you more as an inheritance than as a person who deserves love and respect." David explained that he'd been secretly setting aside money for years, separate from our regular accounts. "This money is for you, Margaret. Not for Michael's mortgage, not for Sarah's kids' college funds, not for anyone else. This is for you to live the life you've always dreamed of." But the most shocking part was what came next. "I've arranged for you to have options, my love. If our family treats you with the love and respect you deserve, wonderful. Enjoy this money with them. But if they disappoint you, if they take you for granted or treat you poorly, then I want you to use this money to build a new life filled with people who actually value you." He had researched senior communities, travel groups, volunteer organizations. He'd even prepaid for a financial advisor to help me manage everything. "Don't let guilt or obligation keep you trapped with people who don't appreciate the amazing woman you are," his letter concluded. "You have at least 20 good years left. Live them for you." That letter from David was like a wake-up call. For the first time since he died, I felt empowered instead of abandoned. I decided to take David's advice. Instead of calling my family to apologize or beg for forgiveness, I started living for myself. First, I hired the financial advisor David had recommended. We created a plan that would let me live comfortably while using David's secret fund for adventures. I booked a 2-week cruise to Alaska. something David and I had always planned to do, but never did. On that cruise, I met the most wonderful group of widows who became my closest friends. When I returned, I joined a senior hiking group, signed up for art classes, and started volunteering at the animal shelter. For the first time in years, my days were full of activities I actually enjoyed instead of just waiting for my family to call. 3 months passed without any contact from Michael or Sarah. But instead of feeling sad, I felt free. I was discovering who Margaret Thompson really was without the role of needy grandmother my family had assigned me. The best part was realizing I wasn't alone at all. The senior community is full of amazing people with incredible stories, wisdom, and energy. I made more real friends in 3 months than I'd had in the previous 10 years. 4 months after my birthday disaster, my phone finally rang. It was Michael. "Mom, we need to talk," he said, sounding uncomfortable. "Jennifer's been thinking about what happened at your birthday dinner, and she feels maybe we overreacted." I almost laughed. After 4 months of silence, now they wanted to talk. "We were wondering if you'd like to come to dinner this Sunday. Jennifer's making your favorite pot roast." The old Margaret would have been so grateful, so eager to reconcile. But the new Margaret, the one David's letter had awakened, saw right through it. "I'm sorry, Michael," I said calmly, "but I have plans. I'm going whitewater rafting with my hiking group, and then we're having dinner at this fantastic new restaurant downtown." There was silence on the phone. "Whitewater rafting? Mom, you're 80 years old." "Exactly," I said, "and I'm finally living like it." The truth was, word had gotten around our small town about what my family had done to me at Romano's. The restaurant staff had talked, neighbors had heard the story, and suddenly everyone was looking at Michael and Sarah differently. Sarah called the next week, crying. "Mom, I'm so sorry about what happened. We miss you. The kids keep asking about Grandma Margaret." "Well," I told her, "they're welcome to visit when I get back from Italy next month." A year later, my life looks completely different from the lonely, dependent existence I was living before my 80th birthday disaster. I've traveled to 12 countries, learned to paint watercolors, and even started dating a wonderful man named Frank from my hiking group. My calendar is so full of activities and friends that my family now has to schedule time with me weeks in advance. The relationship with Michael and Sarah has actually improved, but on my terms. They've apologized for their cruelty and admitted they'd taken me for granted. But more importantly, they respect me now in a way they never did when I was desperately seeking their approval. My grandchildren are amazed by their adventurous grandmother, who sends them postcards from exotic locations and teaches them that age is just a number. That cruel note my family left me at Romano's is framed in my bedroom now, not as a reminder of pain, but as a reminder of the day I stopped letting other people define my worth. David's secret gift wasn't just the money. It was the permission to choose happiness over obligation, adventure over guilt, and self-respect over family approval. My 80th birthday was the worst and best day of my life. My family's betrayal freed me to discover that I didn't need their love to be happy. I needed to love myself. If you're an older person feeling taken for granted by your family, remember this: you've earned the right to live on your own terms. Don't let guilt keep you trapped in relationships that diminish your joy. And if you're younger and have elderly relatives, treat them like the treasures they are before it's too late. You might find yourself uninvited from the most interesting life adventures happening right under your nose. At 81, I'm having the time of my life. Thank you, David, for teaching me that it's never too late to choose yourself.